When the world fell apart, you showed up. Axel is a 4-year-old boy full of energy whose mom says he enjoys spending time with his older brother. He loves to sing, dance, and color. He is a goofy guy that is always laughing. In April 2024, Axel started waking in the night with night terrors, but was otherwise his normal playful self. In May, he started complaining of abdominal pain and neck pain. On June 2nd, Axel developed foot drop and was seen urgently by a specialist where he underwent additional testing. He was found to have a tumor on his spinal cord, compressing the surrounding structures and causing neurological deficits. He was airlifted to Nicholas Children's Hospital, where he underwent an emergency neurosurgical procedure to remove the tumor from his spinal cord. They were able to remove 60% of the tumor, and then the journey began. Please welcome Axel's mom, Alexis Bleiler, to the Mindful Haven podcast, where we share the real and raw journey of families facing life-threatening childhood illnesses and the strength it takes to keep going. Hi, I am so excited to have you here. Axel's journey has been one that we've been involved with since the beginning, and where we're going from here with Mindful Haven and having you involved with that is truly something that we appreciate. We appreciate your input and everything. So I want to jump right into this. Let's talk about emotions and what you went through. Shock, anger, I'm assuming. And so tell me about the diagnosis, how that changed your family's life overnight.
Sure. Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me, Lori. You've been amazing this whole journey. As far as Axel goes and the diagnosis, we were, I want to say, just flabbergasted. Yeah. That wasn't even an option in our minds of that being, cancer, a tumor. Like that's not something you think about ever, or you want to think about. You watch it on TV or movies, and then when it happens, you are shell-shocked. So for me, I was in flight or fight for at least the first 4 months, I want to say. And the reason why I know I was is because I was so angry with everything. I turn to anger immediately when I am in a position that I can't control. And that's something I'm working on every day. But I was in a fog. As I refer to that roller coaster ride with the poem I wrote, it was like I was strapped in to a roller coaster I did not want to go on. Right. And I was just put in a position where I didn't have a choice but to get on and figure it out. And my husband, my rock, thank God he was there to guide me and say, hey, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to figure it out and we're going to just plow through. So for me, I was kind of just doing what I had to do to survive mentally. I was almost angry with everyone else around me that had children that were thriving. And I had to now drop everything and just be a caretaker. And it's not just be a caretaker. It was more than that. It was stopping everything that I worked so hard for, in addition to being a mom and a wife and a friend, and everything had to be put on hold to be, solely Axel's caretaker. And that was a bit of a shock in itself.
Yeah, what you're saying is, it's something I hear from so many moms, especially the fog, right? We have a child right now, a new diagnosis, and she's saying, she goes, I can't remember things. And I feel like I'm not quite awake, and I'm just in this mind fog. So what you're describing is something that is very normal to a lot of the moms. How long did it take before that started to lift and the anger started to go away? Where did you go from that?
It took a few other moms, not necessarily moms that have undergone what I was going through, but just other mothers that came flocking to my house with traumas that happened in their lives. One mother in particular, one of my aunt's good friends, ironically, her name's Alexis as well, went through cancer a year prior, maybe a couple of years prior. And she was just explaining to me, and I think it kind of woke me up. She said, you're a mom. You have to get on this. You're the rock. And I stopped for a minute and I said, it snapped me out of it. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah. We're sitting there and I'm holding him and she's like, you gotta figure it out. You gotta do this for him. You gotta be strong. And that's the day that I felt like, okay, I can do this. I have no choice. And I've always, one of my favorite sayings from Gary Vaynerchuk is one of my, idols. adversity is the foundation of success. So I was like, okay, from that point on, we were in it. And I was still slightly in a fog, but I was willing to like, okay, let's roll with the punches. Let's do this. And I was actually at that point more willing to hang out with friends that had kids that were okay, and just nothing was wrong with them. And I wasn't as bitter because my problem compared to your problem was totally different. Your child can't ride a bike right now. My child can't walk. Those are two completely, different things. So I was trying to kind of make sense of what my life was, and just the strong foundation of other mothers that helped guide me.
Yeah, that's great that you have that, because I know when your child gets a diagnosis or has a life-threatening illness or disability, they kind of become isolated. So if you don't find that strength and that tribe to go with you, then you really are isolated, because your journey's gone in a whole different way. But do you think because you have another child that it kind of forced you that, hey, we've got to stay in reality for this too, because we do have another child and this is affecting him as well, but we've got to do for him. Did that come into play at all?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I did have to get over the fact that I was almost jealous of my other son, in a sense that like he's running around playing and my other son wasn't. And it's like a catch-22. Obviously, I want both of my children to be thriving and happy. But I couldn't give him as much energy because I was I was a caretaker to his brother now. And it's almost like that syndrome when you have a newborn and you're like focused on the newborn, and your other kids, they're fine around you, but you have to focus on the problem at hand. And that's where I was. I was trying to be a mom to both of them, but I felt like I was in a position where I was like split, and I couldn't really enjoy my oldest as much as I wanted to for the first few months because I was so angry with what was going on.
Right. So when you get a diagnosis like that, do you go through the stages of grief? Where you started with
Yes.
anger to where you finally get to acceptance?
Yeah, no, grief was the biggest challenge because for me, all I thought about was how everyone else was. Mind you, this happened in the summer, right? Everyone else is going on vacations and they're going on the boat and they're doing stuff that we were doing just 1 to 2 months prior. And now everything came to a halt and I'm just stuck in the house or at the hospital or, just places that I really don't want to be, and taking care of my child. And I'm still not comprehending what's happening. So I think the grief was where our family was to where it became, at that point. And I couldn't really grasp that too well. It took quite some time, and thank God we have a village surrounding us. Family flew in from out of the country, flew in from other states to help us. Like everyone just jumped on board. We had about 50 cars parked in her driveway all the way down. Every one of our neighbors jumped in and helped us, watched my other son, watched our animals. Like all of these things kind of helped with that. But the grief was so powerful, because even though I had everyone around me, I still looked at their families and said, God,
why me? Did that come into it at all? Like, why me? Why us?
I didn't say that. And the only reason why is because 2 years prior, I watched a podcast with Chelsea Handler, and her brother passed away and she was very close with him. And one thing she said was, and this always resonates with me, when she said, why me? She said, why me? And then she realized like, well, why not me? What makes you any different from anyone else in the world? Right. Mm-hmm. So I didn't say that because I knew like no one is immune to anything. I just needed to come to the realization, like, this is my new life. That's really where I was at.
Yeah. We had Gio is this boy, I don't know if you remember him, and he had cancer and he's in remission and thriving now. He's a teenager, and we were paddleboarding one day, and I asked him that. I was like, does it bother you? Why me? And he laughed and he was like, no, not at all. He said, the way I look at it is, why not me? Because I wouldn't want my mom, my sister, or my brother to get this. So it should be me. And I thought, wow, that is so powerful. personally, I'd be like, why not my brothers?
Right.
You know, I'd be
At that age.
I'm like, no, I don't. I'm totally giving it to them. But I was like, just blown away by, and I'm always blown away by the resiliency and the strength that the kids that get cancer or have some other horrific illness that they have. And, you know, and it's amazing. And as you're saying, as a parent, you have no choice, right? It's like, suck it up. You know, you're on this ride. So you can't get off. It's not about you right now. And I think that's where Mindful Haven is really important, because it comes in later when you can exhale.
Yeah.
And then that's when all the issues come in for so many families, whether it's PTSD, depression, isolation, anxiety, you know, things like that, like the fear of, is this going to return? Or, you know, so that's where the parents' mental health needs to be addressed, because you're so focused on your child's illness, as you should be, right? But if you can get through that, then the focus has to shift to the family, or you'll never be a whole unit again.
That's exactly right? Yeah, absolutely.
So that's, you know, that's a lot of where we're coming from. But what surprised you the most about this journey?
I guess just the people that stepped up and helped us throughout the way as much as they did. People that I didn't know were there popped up out of the woodworks, and people that unfortunately, like who I thought were there, disappeared.
Yeah.
And instead of getting upset about that, I really just looked at it as just like when you get out of high school, you start like clearing out the bad seeds, college, you know, you have those eras in your life where you need to filter out who belongs there and who doesn't. And my husband and I are very like adamant about our circle and our home. Our home is our safe haven. Whoever comes into our home, we tell them as a joke, like, it's an honor for you to come in here because this is our safe space. And we don't allow anybody in here unless we feel safe and we trust you. So for that, you know, having people around us really, truly helped, that stepped up and came out of nowhere. And I'm grateful. I mean, I'm handwriting letters as we speak, because I want people to know how grateful we are. Instead of typing things up, instead of having chat help text, I'm handwriting letters, and I have carpal tunnel. It hurts. That's why I don't really write stuff too much, like with my hand. But yeah, I just, I want them to know like how deeply we appreciate everyone helping us.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Letting people know that it's an honor for them to cross that threshold and enter into your world. That's fantastic. So what keeps you going on the darkest days?
You know, just recently, I mean, trying to read all of the books I'm reading really kind of coexist together and help guide me. So, you know, many books, kind of like the 4 Agreements, for example, helping kind of break down the cycles.
Great book.
Excellent book.
Great book. Yeah.
I'm still in the process of reading that, along with, you know, every single book that you're giving, the book that you gave me, the book that my friends gave me, everyone, but they're all for mental health. They're all for guidance. They all kind of coexist together, like I said. So I think just reading is my outlet.
Yeah, that is mine too. And I find that I'm in the car so much. So now I put them on audiobooks.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Because especially when you're in traffic or, you know, this crazy South Florida lifestyle, if you could be listening to the 4 Agreements.
And you're absorbing it.
Exactly. And the breathing and everything. Yeah. Are there any small rituals or things that you do together that bring comfort or connection in the midst of this chaos?
Yeah. I mean, we're big outdoors people as far as like taking walks.
Yeah,
my friend has a boat. We go on his boat as often as we can. The boys are excellent in, you know, water related. So beach, boat, meditation music. That's huge. We love incense. So the whole house smells like incense all the time. For like, you know, just the tranquil, and the kids get rowdy at nighttime. Incense are on, lights are down, and music is calming. So that's sort of our like ritual every night.
Yeah. A calm environment is huge. It's huge for you. It's huge for them. One of the things we put in the backpack is a diffuser with oils, because even in the craziness of a hospital, if you could have certain scents, right? Like, I love incense. I have that in my house all the time too, but like lavender for the kids and peppermint. I totally believe in that. So with his journey, At what point did you feel that you had to be his advocate? Healthcare today is tough, right? It's such short supply of doctors and nurses and care. And so through this, did you feel at any point, you probably went in to this just being like, oh, okay, guide me, right? Because you're in the brain fog. But at some point, did you become his advocate? And and how do you advocate for him now?
Yeah. Well, my husband, unfortunately, his mother passed away 2 years prior to Axel being diagnosed, and his father was also very ill at that time. So he knew a lot in the medical field at that time, not obviously on a doctor's level, but enough to make sure that we were checking off the boxes. And then for me, I know my child as a mother, whether you give birth to them or not, you're their mother. You can feel their energy. You can feel if something's wrong. It's unexplainable.
Yeah.
So for me, I was advocating for him from the get-go. I even told my husband, I was at work and I was hysterical crying. I said, I just know something's not right.
Yeah.
From the beginning. And he said, I just think he wasn't defending the fact that there wasn't something right. He was he didn't feel what I felt.
Right.
And I said, no, this is not right. And, the doctors kind of pushed us away and the ER pushed us away until we got into the right hands. And, thankfully, he was able to advocate and help me by calling the insurance company and getting that override for the referral and getting our son into the right institute, the Orthopedic Institute at first.
Right.
So for me, I think advocating was from the get-go, just knowing something was wrong. I mean, honestly, even from birth or prior to birth, he was breech, and I was like adamant about still giving a regular birth and labor, and I did. And from that point on, I was always, my firstborn was home birth as well, water birth. Yeah. So we've been advocating for what we wanted for our children and for our, our relationship and just our future. Yeah. So 2 home births, one being breech and one being a water birth. We've always had it in our heads, like, this is what we want. We're doing the research and this is what this is what the outcome is going to be. Right. And my brain is always even though my exterior can come off like, I don't know if she, thinks she knows what she's doing. In my head, I know what I'm doing. Yeah. I knew that this is going to be the outcome is going to be fine. I do not explain it. You just know internally.
Absolutely.
It's just the bumps along the road that kind of steer you in the opposite direction. It's like a little game life plays with you. They throw the chess piece in front of you and you have to swerve around it.
Right. No, absolutely. And if the door is open, that's the door. Follow those doors.
Exactly.
Because they're opening for a reason. If the doors are slamming in your face, you are not meant to go that way.
That's it.
And when you believe in something wholeheartedly, it can't go wrong. Yeah. Because that's just the universe's way of pushing you along. And chess pieces or not, you know where you've got to go. That's awesome. So up next, Axel has a big scan coming up, right?
Yes. July 21st is his next big scan. So this one is the one that's going to be considered, remission.
It'll be in remission.
And after that, I think within that month or a month later, depending on what the oncologist says, he will be able to take his port out. And that'll be at the 6-month mark anyway. September's the 6-month mark.
Okay.
So everything's aligning properly. And we're in high hopes. I mean, clinically, he's doing excellent. He's running around. Yeah. He's fighting his brother. He's wrestling. Right? He went on a 4-wheeler last week. So we're pretty positive about the future results. Yeah. But, always, you're always kind of nervous, nerve-wracking. And then the document they give you when you're refreshing your app on your phone for, you have to check the app to make sure it's up to date when you get those, the documents in before the doctor even tells you. I take that document and I throw it into DeepSeek or ChatGPT to get the results before the doctor even, gives us the results because I'm so anxious about it.
Sure.
But we know
Thank
it's going to
God
be
for
good.
that, right? That you can. The knowledge base out there right now is fantastic. And I feel the same. He looks, from when I first met him to the way he looks now, he looks fantastic.
Thank you.
I mean, he's so cute.
It's the essential oils and the homeopathy.
Well, you know what? There's a lot to be said for that. I mean, you live a very holistic lifestyle. So it's not chaos and it's, so everything, mind, body, spirit, is to help him along and to help your whole family along. And you really nail that. So
Thank you.
I really, I applaud you for that, because, you see a lot of people that just struggle and they don't know how to do that. And they're just too caught up in the journey and sadly just, haven't been able to get to that. And most do at some level for sure. But, so let's talk a little bit about Chasin A Dream and how our relationship has evolved with you all. I know when I first met you, our first introduction is the backpack program.
Yeah.
So we came over and brought him his backpack with the iPad and then, any kind of assistance through that, the financial assistance, so that I believe so strong. Well, in both programs, I really believe strongly in them. I believe that backpack just helps them so much through the transition with hospital life. But the financial part, like if you can help a family through this so they don't lose their home, their cars, and everything like that, and then you can focus on saving your child's life versus, oh my God, how are we going to pay the mortgage this month? Can you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, no, that was tremendous. I mean, first and foremost, our son wasn't, acclimated to the hospital ever. He was never given any medication. So everything was really like new to him and new to us. So to have something to kind of like, shift his reality to that, extent was huge. And then giving the backpack to him and having all those like, knickknacks for him. And also, the iPad, I mean, distracting him, things like that helped a lot for us to focus while he's watching that. Okay, let's focus on what the next step is and just research. And then as far as finances, we were just so grateful to have so many options out there to be able to apply to, and your guidance on where to shift the money and be smart about the money and make sure that things are getting paid in the right order. That helped us tremendously, because people did help with GoFundMe and we were amazed by that, but we wanted to make sure everything was in the right sections, like make sure the future bills are paid, make sure our current bills are paid, and then also all the medical bills that are going to be piling up left and right, and which they did. And you did warn us, like, make sure you save the money because, things are going to roll in. And that helped us like put a pause on a lot of things and say, okay, this is priority and this is, this is not priority, things like that. So that helped us a lot. You helped us refocus our energy. And as soon as we did that, that was the last thing we had to worry about. And that was detrimental.
Yeah. I totally believe that. I mean, that we started out with Chasin A Dream with doing that. And the first child we helped, we were able to take that burden off. And I saw the difference that it made in them not having to focus on that, but just focus on their child. So we're really glad about that. One of the cool things that I love that we've been able to do with your family is the service dog. Yeah. So we work with Carrie Monteleone. She's with Alpha Dog Training. And you had two dogs. Bella is a black lab, right?
Yes.
And so when I met you, we talked about Axel wasn't walking.
Right.
So we wanted to be able to turn Bella into a dog that he could brace on and get emotional support. And, so you want to talk about that a little bit and how Bella's doing now?
Absolutely. So Luna is our older dog and she's very calm and, she's great. And we were given Bella from my husband's father when he fell ill. We were not ready for that. And then when Axel fell ill, we were like, this rambunctious dog, like we either have to keep it or get rid of it. And we're not the type to get rid of, like, we love animals. So we were like, we got to figure this out. And when you and I talked, I was like, this could work. This could work really well. It's a benefit for her to calm down, but also to have a purpose, because every animal needs a purpose, right? Yes. And then also for Axel to benefit and be able to walk again and have the guidance and not be scared of her. Because when he's running around, he's not scared of her. But when he was not able to walk, she's jumping around. That's very intimidating for a young child. Mm. So we were able to kind of, like, with Carrie's guidance, we were able to get her to such a great level of like being a service dog, being respectful for everyone else around her, and just being like the best dog. We love her so much. And she's just such a cute black lab. They're very intelligent. And Carrie
They really are.
I didn't realize how intelligent she was until Carrie put it into perspective. She's like, you have to realize how smart this dog is. And she is. And she is just a joy to be around. She really is.
One of the videos that just blew me away with that was the first one that Carrie sent to me, and Axel was walking, holding on to her. And those were like some of his first steps, right? Because he lost his ability to walk because of the tumor on his spine. Do I have that right? Okay.
Yeah.
So he wasn't walking anymore, but now once Bella was trained to calm down and to stop him from falling, it changed everything.
Yeah.
Right. And before you knew it, you're sending me videos and he's walking unassisted.
Yeah.
And that just makes everything why we do stuff. And we haven't done like a whole lot of service dogs, and that's not a priority of ours unless it's something that's going to really, really help the child. And in this case, it did.
Oh,
and well, in each case it has, but I hadn't thought about Bella until we were talking, and just you were talking about, what are we going to do? He's afraid of her.
Yeah. And she calmed down so much.
Oh my gosh.
Now it's like somebody to lean on, even when he's still not 100%. I mean, he's wobbly. His torso has to build up the strength.
Sure.
So he's not 100%. He's definitely about 90, I would say.
Yeah.
But even those wobbly episodes, when she's there, he'll say to me, "Mommy, look, Bella's helping me," and she'll be standing proudly next to him, and he just like leans on her, and her tongue's wagging, or her tongue's out and her tail's wagging, and her ears are flopped over, and it's just the cutest thing. So
I love that. There's so much potential with animals, and especially with, children that have an illness. When I got my dog Yogi, he was so petrified of all kids. I think he had been abused by a child at some point. And he then bonded with Carter when Carter was a little boy. He was about 2 years old with cancer, and he hated dogs. He was petrified of dogs, and Yogi hated kids. And it was like, and I went away, and, long story short, they bonded. And now Yogi can go into a room with children, and he finds the child naturally who has an illness and just kind of sits next to them.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. It's
really
been amazing to watch that. And that just happened just organically. So the animals just, they're pretty good. Okay. So let's talk. I want to change courses here a little bit. So prior to Axel's diagnosis, you had a thriving videography business. And you're an accomplished photographer, videographer, and obviously your child gets diagnosed and everything comes to a screeching halt. So, and I know how super talented you are because you did the video of our gala last year, which was just amazing.
Thank you.
But how did that affect you to as a woman and a businesswoman and an artist? So you put everything on hold, right? And now you're coming back. So tell us a little bit about your business, and let's and tell everybody where they can find your services and what you do. And you've received awards for your work.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
Well, I mean, it was a huge shift, I must say. Working as much as I did, I was teaching classes for short films at the Palm Beach Code School. And I was, doing my podcast thing, and I was working at WMR Race Shop doing all the videos for them, which I still edit here and there for them. But I was there a lot, like 30 hours a week, and then another 20 hours here and there, and doing my gigs on the side. So I do a lot of wedding videos, a lot of bridal showers, family-oriented stuff with my Jaxel Media brand. And I loved it. And then when that came to a halt, I was just in a really bad place. I think in addition to dealing with everything that was happening with Axel, realizing like as a woman, your life really does shift dramatically. And it took some time for me to kind of like get over that and say, it's going to be okay. Work will come along the way. And I had to tell myself that, and I had to cancel a few clients or shift things over. And that was tough for me because I'm always on every gig that I go, I book it and I want to be there. And it means a lot to me. I'm very, I'm like into it. That's what I adore. It's my passion. And then my other business, Mag 7 Media, was for short films, because prior to this, I won an award for, my film called Distant Roan, which is a cancer diagnosis. So we were writing more films and we were ready to, go to all these events for short films, and that stopped. So it was a lot at once that stopped, and it was almost like a train, like a freight train, and then just complete halt. But everything was still there. Everyone was still by my side and allowing me to take a break and, say, we're here when you need us. So that was nice. Like I said, that foundation really helped. But I was able to kind of like pick up on my writing a bit more during this journey. So it's like a bittersweet sort of thing. When something negative happens, you really have to find the positive in it, right? So for me, I started writing again, and then I realized, wow, my teachers were right in high school and college that I'm a very good writer. So I'm going to continue that. And it kind of allowed me to take some time to do that. And now I can apply it to my business and, write some more scripts, which we already wrote a couple. One is like about postpartum depression, anxiety, which I went through with my firstborn. And that was for 2.5 years I suffered. So that was really bad. And then, I also have the cancer diagnosis I wrote about, which is pretty much my exact story, just put in somebody else's, POV. It's going to be like a voiceover. But I just wanted to kind of like convey feelings that are okay to deliver, that people don't really talk about too much. And I want people to understand that through our vision, my films and my writing and things like that. So you can reach us at jaxelmedia.com or mag7media.com. And depending on, what event or what type of project you have, but I enjoy everything I do. It's my other love. And I try to get the kids in on it, get them some cameras. And when they come with me to work, when I would go to work at the race shop, they were loving it. Their eyes were just glazed over watching mom like film stuff with all these tough guys around riding dirt bikes and stuff. And it's such a cool feeling to make your kids proud, especially having little boys and them seeing their mom and like a strong woman, aspect. And that's my goal.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Has this whole journey that you're finally starting to get to the end of, is it shaped how your media is? Or, have you thought about, I know the telling the story through video, have you thought about writing a book? Have you thought?
Yeah. As far as writing a book, I mean, it's intimidating.
Yeah.
It's a lot of papers to write, but I have started writing, I'll get on Google Docs and I'll start writing away how I feel at that moment. Right. And I just allow it to be. And I'm thinking about like putting them together. I've been told many times to write a book. I don't know where to go about starting. That has always been something in the back of my head. Like I would like to do this. I just don't know how. Yeah. But I think that's, a very important thing. And I do too. And I think like even discussing it with other mothers and chiming in and just kind of getting together and writing a book together. And that's fine with me because I don't care if I'm the center of the book. Right. My name's on it. I don't care. Right? Yeah. I just want to convey the message because I didn't have the message when I was going through that at the time, whether it was postpartum depression, whether it was the cancer diagnosis. I was, on social media looking for an outlet. Like, do you know how I feel? Yeah. And most moms are posting, and there's nothing wrong with them posting, but I couldn't post and I couldn't do anything during the times of both when I was suffering from postpartum depression, anxiety with my firstborn, and then Axel's cancer diagnosis. I couldn't post and I couldn't really go on social media because I didn't want to see what I thought was like a facade of what motherhood is and what life is. Because in my point of view, it wasn't that way. And people can write about like, oh, we're going through this, but it's going to be okay. In my head, I was like, let's just let it be okay. And I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to allow it to be. Versus posting it. I just didn't want to be that person. Mm-hmm. I didn't explain it.
I get it.
But yeah, I'm very like to myself when it comes to that. I'm kind of secluded in a sense. Again, I'm working on these things.
No, it's not a bad thing. There's so much out there on social media that you don't have to bare your soul all the time. It's one thing for businesses and stuff, but that's pretty cool what you were just talking about, and makes me think, since you're part of this Mindful Haven committee and how we're building this, and that may be something that we want to look at with some of the moms, is a round table that then
Yes.
becomes the basis of that you take what happens in those sessions and you write that book based on that round table.
That's beautiful. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we could do that with Mindful Haven. We have to look into that some more, because I think that would be really powerful.
Absolutely.
You can tell that story because you lived it, but so will the other women and men. I think that's another thing with Mindful Haven. This is not a woman's, Mindful Haven is not for women only. This is, the dads go through just as much as the moms do, and the grandparents, the whole family unit. They go through this, whether it's cancer or, it could be hypoplastic left heart, it could be seizure disorder, it could be anything really that's life-threatening. So I'm excited about that. We're going to do that. We're going to add that roundtable as we start building Mindful Haven. So I want to just ask you some questions that I have written down, and I just want to kind of get your answers. I'll throw them out and just tell me what you're thinking. What would you tell to another mother who just got the diagnosis of their child, and not just, you'll come from a cancer aspect, but any kind of like major trauma diagnosis that you get? What's your first thing that you would say to them?
I would say, with what I learned and what people kept telling me that did help, was you really do have to take it one day at a time. Every single day, just absorb that day, give what you can, and try again tomorrow. One day at a time. That's all you can do. Because for me, each day was, the unknown. Is he going to walk? Is he going to be okay? Is he going to grow properly? There's all these things going through your mind. One day at a time. What can we accomplish today? Is he eating? Is he, drinking the amount of fluids he's supposed to do? Am I eating? Am I, doing stuff for myself? One day at a time. That's it. Yeah.
And what about what you would tell moms, dads? Don't forget this. Like, don't forget to do this. What would that be?
I would say don't forget to, gosh, there's so many things, honestly.
I know.
I'm forgetting what not to forget.
Okay. Well, moving right along now.
Don't forget that you're a human and you have priorities that, that need to be addressed. Your well-being, obviously your child, but you need to make sure that you're okay mentally. And what can you do? Hot shower, watch your favorite show, read your favorite book, something, and you might feel guilty about that, but you still need to allow yourself to enjoy something during this chaos, because being in flight or fight is it's like being in hell, and you just need to have an outlet in some way, shape, or form to breathe. So allow yourself to breathe in some way, whether it's a walk or a show or anything, because I would allow myself to watch a TV show and feel guilty and like, no, I need to just decompress and get out of this reality for like 30 minutes, please.
Yeah. Yeah. And did you have a favorite thing that you would do, like exercise, yoga, meditation, anything like that?
Well, we just like to put on meditation music in the background, honestly. So just having that, I know it's crazy, but like my favorite thing in the world is cleaning.
Okay. Do I have a home for you to come to?
It actually is my outlet. So I'm just constantly cleaning and I enjoy it. I really do. And that's what helped me. I mean, everyone's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just vacuuming the couch. What's the problem? And they're like, okay. And then I'm vacuuming the vacuum because the vacuum's dirty. So like Danny Tanner. That was my outlet. So whatever your crazy outlet is, do it. Like, don't be afraid to just allow yourself to be. Like my husband, he when we were at Miami Cancer Institute, his mother was a profound sewer, seamstress. And and he caught himself sewing. One of the exercises was, hey, let's sew. And he's like, yeah. And he was like, he's a calm person in general, but you can tell he was like allowing himself to heal from his mother's pain and from his, child's. Right. So he would sew. So whatever your thing is, and I would be over there writing. So find the thing that you're interested in and just kind of like force yourself to do it at that time. Or you don't have time to do it usually, do it now. Yeah.
Yeah. And you and Joe have such a great relationship. I think that was so important as well, right? I mean, you were one unit to be able to help each other through this and to be there as that one strong unit in the face of, medical issues, the children, everything. Right?
Absolutely. So, yeah. I mean,
how was he?
Well, he was at the beginning, it was rocky. It was tough because naturally you're going to, have differences with ideas and things that you might think it is. Like I said, when I initially thought it was this, or I thought it was neurological and I knew something was wrong. He was adamant that there wasn't anything severely wrong. And then you have to deal with, okay, there is something wrong and now I'm right and you're wrong. And so you kind of have to like work through not fighting and just being there with each other. And that was hard. That was hard for me because I was, You
want somebody to blame. Right. Yeah. And that's natural.
So yeah. And I think making sure that we didn't go against each other and we had to stay with each other. That was the biggest thing. And we have a very strong foundation. I mean, we've been dating for 17 years.
Oh, wow.
And we've been together since high school. We were friends a year prior to that. Like our friend group is still the same friend group that we had from high school, like the core group. Yeah. And those people were there for us. So I think that all of the, these things encompassed, like helped us tremendously get through it. And we're very like transparent with each other. Like we're able to speak to each other, and that's a big thing, not fighting so much and just trying to like be there with each other. And I'm not a hugger. I'm not like one of my 5 love languages is not like physical touch by any means. It's more like acts of service. Yes. So when I would see him do stuff like advocate for our son and talk to the doctors and hover over the nurses and make sure he's getting the right meds, that's when I really felt loved. Like, okay, he's in this. When I'm not, here mentally, he's here. So having that like yin and yang sort of duo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, he's a very solid guy for sure. Oh, yeah. Do you have a favorite mantra, quote, or prayer that you apply to your life?
I mean, I like I said, I think I just say things repetitively, like one day at a time, or it's going to be okay, or breathing, right, is huge. And sometimes I forget to breathe. I know it sounds crazy. Grounding myself, going outside, you feel a difference being stuck inside all day. Yes. Going outside, getting grounded with the grass, the earth, taking a walk, these things help me. I guess that's my mantra in itself, just allowing myself to, ground myself in the world and breathe the fresh air and allow myself to just be still.
Yeah. And there's a lot of power in that. Do you remember when we did the Mindful Haven conference and Dr. Ken Gray was talking about nature and the power of just getting yourself out into nature. Yeah. And I know that resonated with me too, because I tend to, I'll just be so fixated on what I'm doing that, you don't get outside. But if you just go, whether it's a walk on the beach or, through the woods or wherever you are, to just connect with nature, it really can just do a whole mind shift.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, frequency is everything. If you there's these, you could buy them on Amazon. It's like a frequency, like calculator, sort of machine thing. It's like this tiny little frequency machine. You can go outside and you put it by, plants. Yeah. And it has different frequencies. Oh, wow. Depending on the plant. Yeah. And it has a tune to it because frequency is a sound, right? So you put it by your bougainvillea or your, rose bush, and they have different sounds. Really? And it's so interesting.
I have to find one of those.
Yeah. And I think little things like that, just touching a plant or talking to a tree. And I know you might sound crazy.
No, I do it all the time.
Trees are very healing. They are. And just touching one allows you to this is.
Oh, absolutely.
It's going to be okay.
Yes. No, trees totally are. I actually had I just went like totally ape shit on my landscapers because I had this,
I remember reading that.
it was bad. I had this gorgeous tree and all these nesting birds and squirrels and everything. And they just came through and just chopped the whole thing. I was like, no, like
I don't
what is
blame
wrong
you.
with you? Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm big on nature and trees and everything. So yeah,
And they help
I totally
us
get
breathe.
that.
It's kind of like a big deal.
Yeah, it's kind of. Oh my gosh. Well, this has been phenomenal. Seriously, thank you so much. I am so glad to have you on here, and especially the Mindful Haven, the whole program that we're building, dealing with trauma from wherever it comes from, and helping the families that have gone through all of this. I think we have so many exciting things coming, and we have a really great core team here that we can build. Like just even talking about that roundtable now brings something new into what we're doing. Gratitude. The other day we were talking about that and the importance of gratitude practice every day, and how that can shift, and breathing. And there's just so many things that we can do to heal the person and the family as a whole. So
Absolutely.
yeah. And so I'm excited for this because it's not out there, for all, specific diagnoses there are, but not something with them in general and trauma in general. We have some great people coming up, on the podcast to talk about. And I'm so grateful to you and to have, with Chasin A Dream, to have been able to help through this journey, because now it's the next progression of where we go. And that's to take the family from where we first met you, for example, to where we're going. So it's healthy, it's wholesome, and it's dealing with the mind, body, and spirit. Right. And
Absolutely.
until you're whole, the trauma can't be healed. So I'm really looking forward to what we build here. I'm looking forward to watching Axel grow and thrive, and your whole family grow and thrive.
Thank you. And I'm humbled and honored to, be a part of this journey. I've always wanted to be a part of something like this. And I just, never got my foot in the door. And then, it's a blessing in disguise, this whole journey.
Yeah.
That's what I consider it.
Yeah.
One door closes and 1,000 doors open for you. And something so unfortunate came, excellence out of this. So I'm very grateful. And like you said, gratitude is huge. So I will practice that every morning like I used to.
Right? Because you do tend to forget those things, right?
Yeah.
I've got some ideas on that too.
Well, I'm excited to hear it. I can't wait.
Yeah. And I'm just going to throw this out there. Well, besides, checking our website, it was just chasinadream.org. Every year we have a gala. And Alexis did the video on it. So if you go on our website, you'll be able to see that and see how talented she is. But we also are hoping that this year we have Axel in the gala.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It's exciting.
It will, right? And whether it's you or Joe walking him down the Brownway.
Yep.
So much more on that on our website, and give us your websites again so people know where to find you.
Yeah, absolutely. So the two websites are jaxelmedia.com and also mag7media.com.
And how'd you get the name Jaxel?
Oh, my two boys, Jackson and Axel, put together as Jaxel.
That's awesome.
My best friend, I call him my Mr. Sister. He thought of it. We were sitting there and I said, what would be a good name? And we're sitting there and he's like, what about Jaxel? And I was like, Jaxel Media? And he's, boom, that was it. That was
That's
awesome.
it, right? I love it. I love how that stuff happens, right?
It just happens.
Yeah. And
great.
it's so perfect.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so very much. I hope you have an awesome day.
Thank you, Lori. You too. I appreciate it.
Thank you.